My personal love for heavy metal will never die until I fucking die. And my love for Mortal Sin has always been the same since day one. And we're doing it because we can.
Yeah, we still got something to offer. You know, we've always had the music in us. Every time you go and watch a band, you're sitting there going, fuck, why aren't we doing this, you know? And for me, it's in there, and it's something you've got to get out. So, you know, I think we've got a good thing happening now, so it should be.
Yeah, on the internet, there's still a lot of websites that have a lot of stuff, like Mayhemic Destruction's on, you know, the top 10 of some of the websites from places like Germany and stuff like that. Do you think you make an impact like you did before again there?
Yeah, probably more now.
Well, hopefully the power of the internet has like boosted everyone's opportunity within the music industry because of how many people you can reach these days. So back in the old days, many years ago, it was a bit harder. It was like magazines and radio shows, and now it's internet, mate. You jump on the internet, you can find anyone anywhere.
How did it come about meeting up with the two Addictive guitarists, Mick and Joe, together for this reformation of the band?
Well, we've known Mick and Joe for many years, and actually many years ago when Mortal Sin was going the original lineup, we had a bit of a spit back then. We were talking privately amongst us three about pinching these two from Addictive, but we couldn't do it, so we just let it go back then.
Definitely a lot tighter this time around. It's probably the tightest lineup since possibly before Face of Despair.
Yeah, well, you know, we needed someone in the band to, I don't know, put some impact in the band. And when we first started out, we got Joe. Where are you, Joe? Come over. We got Joe in.
Hello.
And we were using Mick Burke, who was, you know, like original guitarist from Face of Despair. And I know we were with this that lineup for about 6 months, but Mick wasn't working out, and we sat down and said, well, who can we get? Who's a good guitarist that we can get? And we went through a whole bunch of guitarists, and no one had even thought of Mick. And then Joe just said, well, what about Mick?
I'll go get Mick. I'll show you what Mick looks like.
And we all just went, fuck, Mick. We never even thought of Mick. And then when Mick came into the picture, it was straight away we knew there was a chemistry there. You know, we going, fucking hell, this is the lineup. So you know, and it's been a couple of months now, and it's working out really good. 2 great guitarists, 3 shit other players. We get a big pot, we chuck everything in it, Wayne stirs it up, we cook it up, throw it on the floor, whatever comes out, comes out. Everyone's got an input. We all sit down and we listen to what we got. And if it's not working, we throw in some extra stuff, or we twist things around, we muck around with stuff. Experimentation is the main thing. And you know, if it's not the song that we want to bang to, then it's not finished. We'll keep working on it till it is.
And the good thing is everyone's contributing now.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the new stuff when you sort of compare it and listen to the old stuff and hearing the new stuff taking shape? Does it get you excited? Are you like feeling the vibe this time around?
Yeah, the vibe now is like scary. You know, sometimes we're playing some of the new stuff and it's just so tight and it's just heavy, and we're sitting there going, fucking hell, this is it, this is great. Yeah, it's a good vibe. We love it. We can't wait to sort of start playing overseas, letting everyone else see it, and getting back amongst it all.
Well, me personally, I seem to think that it's going around the big clock circle.
Yeah.
And it's slowly coming back to the thrash metal vibe again, and the chuggers, and the vibe Metallica had when Master of Puppets come out, I feel is going to come back in again. Hopefully I'm right.
Now the funny thing is that we've been around since '85. We've spanned 2 generations. You know, so back then we were playing to, or you know, everyone was 17, 18, 20 young kids. Now there's a whole new generation of young kids coming through, just discovering the music, you know. I've got a daughter who's 16 and loves metal, you know, and now she's dragging all her friends in. So it's good, you know. The last gig we played, the gig that's on the DVD here, there was people from all sorts of ages, 18 through to 40, 45.
I mean, we had fans that were bringing their kids to become new fans, so it's
pretty weird.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, we've got a lot of songs to sort of, you know, 2 or 3, 4 albums. We've got enough songs to be able to pull some good songs from all the albums. So, you know, it's one of those things. As much as we want to spread the new music around, you know, play our new songs, we're always going to get everyone wanting to hear the old shit as well. So, you know, I mean, our set will probably consist of about 15 songs, hour and a half. And hopefully everyone will be happy. Hopefully we'll play the songs that everybody wants to hear.
And try and get a nice balance between the old stuff and the new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind pulling Women in Leatherback out again after watching that clip of the original clip we done for it with SBS at the Berlin Community Hall. It's a totally different intro and say chugger. We just got to pull. That's what we're good at. We're good at making chugger. Chugger. Chugger.
Formed a band, what 2 members come up with the idea to form a band, and who named it Multimedia?
Where did the name come from?
Once upon a time there was a Motorhead gig at Salonis, and I met Matt and his wife Diane there, and a couple of weeks later there was a lightning strike on a train I was on, and the train stopped in the middle of nowhere. And I went for a walk on the train and found him and Diane on the train and started yapping and worked out we were both musos and we wanted to get something going and we liked the same style of music, and from that moment the lightning strike formed Mortal Sin.
True story?
The name, yeah, true story. The name, you know, in that era, back in '85, you had to be the heaviest. You know, when everyone around was like, we want to be the heaviest band. No, we want to be the heaviest band. No, we're the heaviest band. So we had to come up with the heaviest name, and I was hanging around with a couple of guys who, we were going to form a band called Mortal Sin. But then when I met him, that band had to have the name Mortal Sin. So it was a case of we just took the name, took it over to that Mortal Sin, and we went from there.
And I thought, what a better suburb in the whole world to form a heavy metal band than the place of Blacktown. So Blacktown.
We're all from Blacktown originally. These 2 guys still live in Blacktown. I think the logo was Cliff. Did the logo, didn't he?
Kid. The original guitarist in the first album, Keith Kirsten, I'm pretty sure he made up the design for the actual logo. Can't remember, it's been so long.
Speaking of the original lineup, who was the original lineup that first had the first jam in the studio?
We actually jammed as Wizard before Mortal Sin.
Yeah.
Because when, like, he was actually the drummer for Wizard when he met me, and I went over and jammed with them. They were playing Maiden covers and stuff, wasn't it?
Maiden and Black Sabbath. That was back, the bass player I had in that band was Luno Tafusia from Jerk. The band he's in now anyway. But yeah, that was
so
pretty
we
close to
did that, what, for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and we said, nah, we've got to do something more heavier than that. I was singing with the grunt, you know, like Hetfield. and it wasn't really suited to that music that they were playing, because that was Maiden, you know. Even though I could sing the Maiden stuff, I preferred to sing with, you know, that sort of stuff, and that's what was coming in. So Keith and Wayne sort of said, well, to me, fuck this, let's go and make our own band, and that's how Mortal Sin started. And I think it was a couple of weeks after that we jammed with, is it Nobby?
Nobby Lumen, mad guitarist, don't know what else to do.
Who was on bass?
Steve Moore was on bass. Mozzie, is our nickname, Mozzie.
Where's Neville Reynolds?
We actually had Steve King from Rose Tattoo.
Jam out for a little bit,
a couple of times. And I think
Joe from Lotus, Joe from Lotus. Yeah,
we must have had 1,000 musos in the band at first. If we named them all, we'd probably name the whole music scene in Sydney. But in 85, we had Neville Reynolds, and he was probably the first guitarist to sort of stay in the band. But then when it got time we wanted to play, we were going to play in something like February in 86, but he was going overseas to see his family, and we're going, hang on, we're going to play.
We're ready to gig.
We're going to play. He said, but I've got to go overseas to see my family. All right, see you later. So we got a new guitarist, and I think at that stage we had Andy in the band too, didn't we?
Yeah, because I brought my guitarist from Judge.
Yeah. So when Neville left, we got his ex-guitarist, which was Paul Caruana.
Yeah.
So that's where we ended up, the first original lineup, the lineup that recorded on Mayhemic Destruction.
Right, originally Mayhemic Destruction was supposed to be a demo, and because we had connections in the studio 301 at the time, my friend John Darwish, we ended up doing the album on demo budget, but actually released it as an album in the long run, after we heard what sort of a job he'd done on it. Back then, for the big fat raw sound which we wanted was perfect.
Yeah. We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah, never had experience in the studio before.
How many days we had? 3 days.
We had 3 days booked in, we went down there, we partied on, we messed the studio up, we just had a ball. And then we thought, fuck, we better record something. so we recorded, and it was one of those things that
a whole new experience for the whole lot of us.
At the end of 3 days, we had something like 8-10 songs, and it was an album, and it was cool.
It was arguably one of the best heavy metal records of all time. And with Face of Despair, you ended up signing to a major label. Then how did all that come about? What caused you to get that record signing, and who is that all done through?
That actually came about because of the Mayhemic Destruction album,
which
we
ended up going to Phonogram because of Bernard Doe, who was the main editor at Metal Forces magazine in England at the time, and he gave us a rating of 99 out of 100 in comparison to Metallica's, what was it?
Master Puppets.
For Kill 'Em All, they give him 95 or something. So we got a better rating in Metal Forces for our first album, and Bernard Doe liked it that much that he pushed it and sent it to everywhere in England, all the labels and that, and then we finally got signed up through Phonogram.
It was just one of those weird things where we were in the right place at the right time. Metallica was just breaking through with Ride the Lightning, basically, and I think Master of Puppets hadn't even come out yet when we did Mayhemic Destruction 8. So we were being hailed as the next big thing, and I think the British press liked us, and that was what got us the deal. The record company gave us a call, and we're sitting there going, yeah, sure, no worries, we'll sign with you. It was just one of those things, and
you know what I signed, but I signed it.
Yeah. They redid the cover and everything for Mayhemic Destruction, and it's awesome cover, and I think by the time that came out, we were already writing stuff for Face of Despair, and we recorded Face of Despair in '88. By that time, Keith had been booted out of the band, and we got Mick Burke in from Slaughterlord. And we went into studios in '88 to start recording Face of Despair with Randy Burns. Randy had done Megadeth, he'd done Creator, a couple of other things, and he came over and worked with us on that. I think we were 2 weeks or something we recorded that, 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. It was a pretty big budget. Back in those days, you had a budget for a record, which these days you could buy a whole fucking studio, you know. So it was, I mean, it was cool, it was good. We had a good time. There was a lot of pressure. The songs were good. I remember still writing lyrics for some of the songs while these guys were recording music. So, at the end of it, we didn't do 20 or 30 songs. I think for that album we only had 14 songs or something, and I think 10 went on to the CD or something. Yeah, 10 or 11. Yeah, so it was a good record. It come out. We had a good time. We toured around Australia. We finally got overseas. The record company really pissed us off with that, because in '87 when we had done, Mayhemic Destruction had been out for a while, we wanted to tour overseas. We thought that our place was over there. If we didn't get overseas, we thought we'd get left behind. And there was a tour going through which was Anthrax and Testament. And, we really wanted to be on that. We thought, fuck, if we get on that tour, it would be just so awesome. And I spoke to the record company and they said, oh no, you're not ready to go overseas yet. And it's like, fuck man, we just want to fucking play. So...
Fuck, he swears a lot.
Shut up. So, it was a case of we were stuck in Australia, everybody else was overseas playing. We felt like we were on the other end of the earth, missing out on it all. And then by the time we finally did get overseas in 1990, Testament, the band that we were supposed to tour with in '87, were finally way up here. We were supporting them, where we thought we probably should have been doing our own tour, in 1990 as well. But it was a good tour. We had a lot of fun. By that stage,
I can't remember it.
Wayne wasn't in the band. We ended up.
Oh, that's why.
Steve Hughes from Slaughter took his place, and we toured with Testament. We did something like 13 shows, 14 shows in Europe. And then when we got back from that tour, we talked with our management. He says, oh, you guys like Faith No More? We go, yeah, fuck yeah. He says, oh, you're doing a tour. So we had like 2 days before we had to go back on the road again and do a tour with Faith No More in the UK. We did 20 shows. So that was cool. But by the time that had happened, we'd done something like 40 shows in the UK. Tensions were getting up. Paul and Steve were at each other's throats. Mick and Steve were at each other's throats. Steve and me were at our throats.
And I was sitting at home crying.
And it was just a case of, well, look, this is just not happening. As soon as we got home, without telling anyone, I'd had the jack of it all. I was like, well, fuck you, Hughes. I'm sick of this. I hate this. And we did a show as a comeback tour at the Hills Inn. I talked to these guys. I said, mate, we should do a Haunted Pavilion or something. Come back from overseas, show the world how good we are, how big we are. And these guys were, nah, let's just do the Hills Inn. It's like, well, fuck that, no way. So when we did the Hills Inn, we did the last song, and I just looked around and I said, okay, this is my last song ever with the band. I'll see you later. Had a good time. And these guys were, what? What just happened? And that was it. I left the band. So after that, it was, he kept things going, Andy kept things going. It was 90 and 91. Yeah. They got a new singer and countless other new members of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you take over from
Well, for me, it was like, the passion was still there. I still wanted to keep going with it. Obviously, I wish the original band could be still together from day one, but obviously not everyone's on the same team sometimes. So I kept going. We ended up releasing an album called Rebellious Youth. It was okay. Wayne, you're in my way.
Sorry, mate.
the picture.
I mean, it was okay for the time. But it's just something I had to keep going because I had the passion for it. But I knew deep down it wasn't right, but I just wanted to see how far we could go with it. Went as far as we could, maybe last a year I think, maybe close to 2. And I ended up calling it a day too. I said, no, it's time to close shop.
You had some good news though.
We had some great musicians in the band at the time. But it just wasn't the same. You get the great musicians in the world, but you haven't got the chemistry within kind of personalities.
The album sucked, didn't it?
The album, at the time, I thought was good.
Yeah.
It's like anything, you just do things because it's a learning process. So we did that. We ended up having some good gigs. I think we toured with Malmsteen, and we did Megadeth as well, which was really good buzz for me. But still, yeah, it still wasn't the same. And I knew deep down it wasn't the same thing, but you just had to keep going, see how far you could go with it. And then that was it, and I probably ended it after that. Ended up moving, I went up the coast. And that was when these guys ran me years later. And I didn't want a bar of it. I went, no, and it's for this lineup we're talking about now.
No, 96.
Oh, 96, sorry, where am I? 96.
96.
So we gave that a go, as Matt will probably explain after this.
96 was, me and Wayne got together again, and we said, let's have another shot at it. And we got Andy back in the band. I think we actually had the original lineup to start with, didn't we?
I think we did.
Did we have Mick?
We had everyone in the band except Mick Bird.
Okay. So Paul come down. Paul was living in the Gold Coast, and he come down. He just sort of did the shows. You know, he rehearsed on his own and come down, did a couple of shows. And we thought, no, that's not working out. He didn't want to be travelling back and forth from the Gold Coast to Sydney, which is like 1,000 k's each week. So we had Hefty in the band then, didn't we?
Yeah, Anthony Hoffman. Anthony come from a band called Grungeon that I was in between 1990 and 1996. I was 6 years in a death metal band for Greg Morelli, Anthony Hoffman and David Collis. And that split up. Well, we didn't actually split up, we just stopped playing. And I decided to take Hefty along with what I was doing with Matt, and that started that lineup. Then we
got rid of Paul when Paul decided
Paul didn't want to do it anymore.
We had to
so
find another guitarist.
Another band I was in after Mortal Sin asked me to leave in '89. I went and formed a band called White Trash, and there was a guitarist in that band called Troy Skerry. And he ended up being dragged into the Mortal Sin 1996 lineup with Anthony Hoffman, Andy, myself, and that.
That was pretty much just for ourselves. We wanted to record something so we can tour, so we had a couple of new songs that we had written in with that lineup, Voices and Revolution of the Mind, and we had all this other stuff that was floating around. We thought we want to get all that on a CD, and we had some really cool live stuff. We had some really cool demos that no one had ever heard. So we thought, why don't we put all that shit onto a CD and we just release that and see how we go. So we did that. We self-financed it. We produced the whole thing ourselves, and we went and did a national tour. Which sort of pretty much went through to about 98, wasn't it? 97 or 98? I think the tour was 98, you know, because we recorded it in...
Early 98.
Yeah, and we did a national tour. We went over to Perth, we did Sydney, Melbourne, Queensland, all that stuff. And I think there was another sort of situation where, you know, the chemistry wasn't right. You know, there wasn't new stuff coming out. We weren't writing new stuff, and it was getting a bit frustrating. And
well, like for now, the songs are spitting out now. They're just coming out. Back then, we had trouble, even months and months of being together, coming up with fucking songs that we'd all agree on and riffs that we'd all like.
Yeah, I think the problem back then was having two completely new guitarists in the band back then weren't, you know, they just... So there was something wrong. They just, you know, what do we write? What do we write? We just said, look, write what's in your heart. Write whatever comes out. But to us, it wasn't really Mortal Sin. But now, because these two guys from Addictive have come in, Addictive were a similar band to Mortal Sin. So the reason the chemistry's working now is because we're playing the same style of music. And these guys know that style of music better than anyone.
So you guys did numerous tours with Addictive back in the late 80s, early 90s. What was it like touring back then, and what sort of shows did you guys all play together? Like, just tour the country together, or?
The Melbourne, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a couple of tours together. Probably the best show we ever did together was the Metal from the Heart at the Enmore.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I never played it.
Oh, you didn't play. But I mean, there was a lot of good shows. We did one down in Wayala. It was this place right at the end of the earth in Adelaide.
Yeah, but let me interrupt you. So this is how much these guys wanted to be in Mortal Sin. Back then, they actually told the guys that ran the Wayala Motel where they were staying they were Mortal Sin because they got there before us. So yeah, they knew they were going to end up being in the band.
Thanks for the room anyway.
Just find your rooms.
So when we got there, we were just addicted, I think.
Actually, that whole thing goes way back even further than that. When we were at school, Joe and I played in a band.
Well, I didn't play with you. I come just to hang out with you.
Was it? Oh, okay.
You're the only other headbanger I knew.
Joe was a groupie.
Okay. But I mean, you know, we've sort of known each other for so long that it's quite good that we've all ended up in the same band together.
Personally, my plan is to make a hit album, make a lot of money, then get old enough to open up a heavy metal retirement village. For people like us who have nowhere to go at an older stage in life.
For me, we know we've got a killer album in us. You know, we've got 9 songs so far that we've got together, and I think they're better than anything else we've ever written. And all we need to do is put them onto a CD, get out there and play it, and just show everyone what it's like. And I think it'll go from there. We don't need to do anything. All we need to do is play, and I think everything else will follow.
Yeah, when's our next gig?
Today.
Oh, okay.
This afternoon. We're playing.
We're always playing. It's good. No one will be there, but we're playing.
Yeah, definitely we want to be getting overseas again. Probably from here on in, we'll record an album in the next couple of months, tour it, play, just get out there and then have a rest.
Well, I'm just happy to be able to play guitar. I enjoy playing guitar, and these guys have given me a great opportunity with a good band to be able to indulge myself, I guess.
It's good to see after all these years you guys are still into it too, you know, that's really important. You know, that's inspiring to younger people.
Well, since Addictive broke up, I haven't done anything musical at all. Been talking with a few people, but nothing really interested me.
And, it took us a while to coax him. I think Wayne and I actually were talking about trying to get Mortal Sin back together back in 2000 when AC/DC came out in. But then he had his accident, nearly died. And it took, I think it was like, what was it, about a 14-month recovery for you?
Yeah, and then I was out of work. And
how long were you out of action for?
Lost the hearing in my right ear.
He was in a coma for a long time, and I tried to turn the fucking thing off, but they wouldn't let me.
I'm actually going through a process now. I'm getting the ear fixed. So.
What?
What? Say what?
Yeah, so that's why it took us so long to get the shit back together. I mean, 2000, 2001, 2002. It took us nearly 4 years to get it back together. But it's back. It's good.